right, update 4.30 should be coming really, really soon, and it's going to be coming along with the brand new Fusion Champion for June 7th. So here we go. Update highlights 4.30. A new update is due to arrive shortly, and as always, we prepared a quick recap of the things you can expect. First of all, save teams will let you adjust the behavior of your champions in auto battles, including the multi-battle mode, and do it as far as choosing which skills they prioritize or avoid altogether. Playtime rewards will receive an update and offer more resources as your level increases, and there's new champions. All right, here we go. So saved teams. This is something we were talking about last week. One of the features we promised in our What's Next, and it's going to allow you to pre-make teams for PvE and PvP. It will let you tweak skill prioritization for each champion before you send them, and it becomes available when you reach player level 30. The basics are simple. You can access the feature by tapping the team setup button on the champion selection screen. It's going to be very familiar. And so you're going to be able to do 10 pre-saved teams for PvE. So campaign, dungeons, faction wars, clan boss, and doom tower. And then 10 for PvP. So classic, arena, and tag team. You can also name them as well to keep it easy for you to figure out. Skill instructions. So this is pretty much skill priorities. You're going to be able to do default. So they're going to use their skills as they normally would. Opener, champion will always use this skill on their first turn in auto battle. Don't use, so the AI won't use the abilities first, second, and third choices. So this gives us some AI priorities. Playtime reward update. When the update hits, playtime rewards are going to increase as your player level increases. So here's what they're planning on doing. So levels 1 to 30 means it's going to stay the same. And for those of you that are unsure what this means, when you initially get into the game, on the bottom right is, for like the first reward you get was 7,500 silver. Then you end up getting a mystery shard. You end up getting a small lesser potion. You end up getting an energy refill, silver, and arena tokens, right? So this is what they're talking about, is it's going to change based on your player level. So now player level 31 to 50, after 5 minutes, it's going to be 12,000 silver instead of 7,500. 40 minutes of game time is going to get you a greater arcane potion instead of one lesser potion. And 90 minutes of game time is going to get you 30,000 silver instead of 20,000. Level 50 plus, 5 minutes of playtime is going to get you 20,000 silver, 40 minutes is 2 greater arcane, and 90 minutes is going to be 55,000 silver, okay? So we're getting some new playtime rewards. It's not a lot of stuff, but it's, you know, it's a little bit better than what we're getting currently, especially people that have been playing for a while. Champion Fusion. We talked about this guy already, so let's take a look at him and see how many books he takes. Here is Herndig. This is going to be a fusion that starts Monday. And we were told that it's going to be a traditional fusion, okay? Herndig is a legendary magic dwarf. And he's going to be attack type. His A1 is called Lethal Lust. Attacks an enemy, grants an extra turn, and decreases the cooldown of Stasis Strike, which is A3, by 2 turns if his A1 kills an enemy. And that's 4 books right there. A2 is called Arcane Tempest. Attacks all enemies. Has a 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff and a 50% decreased accuracy. A3 is called Stasis Strike. So this is the one that gets ascended. So the basic attacks an enemy, fully depletes the target's turn meter. And the ascended does the same thing. Attacks an enemy, fully depletes the turn meter, but also attacks all enemies if the first attack is a crit. So on the ascended ability, the first attack fully depletes the target's turn meter. If it's a crit, he does an AoE weaken and HP burn. Okay? And his passive is called Stayed. Fills his champion's turn meter by 10% every time they're hit, and also fills his champion's turn meter by 20% whenever an ally dies. Okay? His aura increases ally attack in arena battles by 35%. So I know for myself personally, I'm probably going to go for him. I like the AoE decreased defense that he has here, right? AoE decreased defense and AoE decreased accuracy. I can see him helping me out personally a lot in Faction Wars. So I'm going to go for him. And like I said, we were told that it's going to be a traditional fusion. So keep that in mind. If you guys are going to go after him, you're going to need chickens, you're going to need potions, you're going to need all that stuff. Okay, so make sure that you start working on those resources now. All right, now more new champs. And I did get a sneak peek. We have Skinwalkers, Shadowkin. Fun stuff in here, so ready. More champions. Lady Kimmy. She's a magic legendary support Shadowkin. Why are we getting another magic legendary? I don't know. But Lady Kimmy. Lady's Touch is her A1. Attacks an enemy, then attacks the enemy with the highest turn meter. Will attack the same enemy twice if the initial target also has the highest turn meter. The second hit has a 50% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 15%. A2 is called Flurry of Petals. Attacks all enemies. Has a 75% chance of placing decreased accuracy and decreased speed. Also has a chance of decreasing the turn meter by 15%. So she has an AoE. Decreased accuracy, decreased speed, and potentially AoE decreased turn meter. Which is nice here. A3 is called Spirit Flux. Removes one random buff from each enemy and has a 75% chance of placing block buffs for 2 turns on enemies that have buffs removed. She also fills the turn meter of allies by 15% and places an increased accuracy and increased speed buff on all allies. So this part's nice too. Filling the turn meter of everybody by 15% and doing increased accuracy and increased speed on all champs. Her passive is called Imperious. Whenever this champion places a debuff on an enemy, also decreases the turn meter for each debuff placed. Whenever this champion or ally receives a debuff, fills their turn meter by 5% for each debuff received. And her aura is increases ally speed in Doom Tower battles by 30%. So this is new Shadowkin Lady Kimmy. We have another legendary Shadowkin. This one is Noble. Legendary Force Attack Shadowkin. He looks interesting, huh? She does sound pretty good. Lady Kimmy does sound pretty good. And so here's a new Shadowkin here. And he looks kind of cool, right? I can't wait to see what these actually look like. Smell Fear is the A1. Attacks an enemy, 40% chance of decrease in the duration of 2 buffs on the target. If the target has Fear or True Fear, has a 65% chance of decrease in the duration of target's buffs by 1 turn. A2 is Harbinger. Attacks an enemy and ignores 30% of the target's defense. Fills his champ's turn meter by 25% after the attack. If the target's under fear, decreases the cooldown of Dismay. And here's the Dismay. And it's an AoE. So A3 is an AoE. Decrease enemy turn meter. And also says here, if the enemies are under fear or true fear, fills this champ's turn meter by the amount that those enemies lose. And the passive is whenever an enemy's turn meter is fully depleted, has a chance of placing true fear on that enemy for 1 turn. So yeah, this guy looks like he's going to work really, really good with champions that place fears and true fears. So who do we have? Like, we have Missalad, we have Miscreated Monster, we have Madam. Like, any of these champs that are going to place fear. Oh, Harvest Jack does a fear too, right? So that seems really nice. And also, anytime that they depletes an enemy's turn meter, it places a fear as well too. Yoshi, Brogni, Lydia, like there's so many people that it seems like he'll be able to work with. So really nice addition. Next is an Ogren. His name is Siegehulk. Epic Magic Attack Ogren. A1 is called Battering Ram. Attacks an enemy and decreases the turn meter by 15% if the target has decreased speed or decreased defense buffs. A2 is called Thrashing Fit. Places a 50% increased attack buff on this champion and attacks all enemies. Has a 75% chance of placing decreased defense. A3 is called Siegebreaker. The basics, this is going to be the Ascended one, right? But the basic version of the A3 Siegebreaker is places an increased crit rate and increased damage buff on this champ, then attacks an enemy. And then the Ascended version is places increased crit rate, increased crit damage on this champ, attacks an enemy, and has a chance of decreasing speed on the target. And then the auras increases crit rate in Doom Tower battles by 24%. So this looks like he's going to be a really nice addition to the Ogryn. I like how someone said looks like his helmet actually fits properly. It does, doesn't it? All right, next. Another Shadowkin. This is an epic spirit Shadowkin named Gory. A1 is Cold Comfort. Attacks an enemy, places an extra hit if the target's under a freeze, and heals this champ by 10% of the damage inflicted. A2 is called Frost Jitsu. Attacks 3 times at random. Each hit has a chance of placing a freeze. A3 is called Frostbreaker. Attacks an enemy and ignores defense and shields. Also ignores 50% of target's defense if they're under a freeze. Places a counterattack and increase attack buff on this champ if this attack kills an enemy. So that's interesting. A3 ignores both increased defense and shields. And the passive is called Dignity. Counterattacks with the A1 whenever an enemy places stun, sleep, freeze, provoke fear, or true fear on an ally. Interesting, right? You guys think he's better, like he's another version of Yakarl. He looks like the guy from Addams Family with the hair. Oh, who was that? Who was the one with the hair from Addams Family? I can't think of who it is. Seems conditional. Yeah, needs someone that does freezing, so maybe Pixneal? Cousin It, that's it. Thank you, Garth. Maybe he needs a Pixneal. Are they trying to make it so Pixie is good? Maybe. That's Gory. All right, guys, we have a new lizard and we have a new Shadowkin coming too. So I'm excited about these. This guy is called Skathix. The rarity, so he's an epic void support lizard. Skathix. A1 is called Leg Rack. Attacks an enemy and can place a decreased speed. A2 is called Transfer Rush. Attacks all enemies and steals a random buff. So AoE and steals a buff. Scales of the Ages removes all debuffs from allies, then places block debuffs and a shield. That's nice. The A3 is really nice. Removes all debuffs from allies and places block debuffs and shields. That's great. His passive is called Last Gasp. Places a block damage buff on this champ for 1 turn whenever HP drops below 30%. I like this guy. And his auras increases ally resistance in all battles by 40. He's got a really nice kit, you guys. What a nice kit. I really like his A3. I like that passive. So he gets block damage whenever his HP drops below 30%. Yeah, the aura could be nice for Spider, right? And increases ally resistance in all battles by 40. So I really like this one. And he's an epic void for the lizards. New Shadowkin hype. Guys, we've been looking for new Shadowkin. We have a Hippo. How about that? So what I really like that they branched out of the usual, because they've been giving us a lot of like minotaurs, goats, pigs. We get a hippopotamus. And this hippo looks really good. All right. Hofories the Tusked is an epic force support for skinwalkers. I know, guys, we got a skinwalker, and I'm actually really excited about this one. Burly Bash is the A1. Attacks enemy 2 times and places a stun. A2 is called War Whoop. Places increased attack and increased crit on all allies. A3 is called Eternal War. So this is the Ascended. This is going to be really, really nice in Skinwalkers because the basic is revives 2 allies and gives them 50% HP and 50% turn meter. The Ascended revives 2 allies, 50% HP, 50% turn meter, and strengthen. So now we have a reviving Skinwalker, right? We have another one because I know we had Rain Beast, but Rain Beast was conditional. So now we actually have a reviving Skinwalker, and the auras increases ally resistance in all battles by 40. So I like that they're also giving us, like, this is another champ that the auras increases ally resistance. So I'm happy with this. Yeah, I know, guys, it's a bit late for us to get a reviving Skinwalker, but I'm happy with this. I think that this is a good move. Yeah, Skinwalker is my worst faction right now. It's absolutely my worst. I can 100% use this guy personally for myself. And what I'm seeing in a lot of the channel, a bunch of people can use him too. So I'm very happy with this guy. Now we're headed into the rares. Mycolis is a rare void Ogren. A3 is called Vigor Spores. Attacks an enemy and heals this champ by 30% of the damage inflicted. Also heals the ally with the lowest HP. So looks like we're going to have another healing Ogren. A2 is called Fungal Privilege. Places a shield, then places Ally Protect on allies and also heals allies. Passive is called Absorption Roots. Decreases the damage all allies receive by 5%, and this champion will receive that damage instead. And the auras increases ally defense and faction wars by 21%. So she kind of reminds me almost like Ursuga in a way, because look at that passive. Decreases the damage all allies receive by 5%, and she takes it instead. But also does shields and ally protect on themselves and a heal. So she kind of reminds me like a budgeted Ursuga for Ogren, maybe? Very interesting, right? So this is going to be Mycolis, and that's a rare. That kid does feel kind of strong for a rare. So I like that addition to Ogren. Another demon, because, you know, we can't go through an update without another demon. Hellborn Sprite. Rare Spirit Demon Spawn. Shivering Milady. Attacks an enemy and places a weaken. A2 is called Crumbling Flesh. Attacks enemy 3 times and does a heal reduction. And passive. Now this is the one that can be ascended. Increases duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn. And the ascended version increases duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn and places increased crit rate. So here we go. And Odachi is going to be a rare force defense Shadowkin. A1 is called Showy Slice. Attacks an enemy, 20% chance of placing a provoke. A2 is called Great Sword. Attacks all enemies, places a shield buff on this champ for 2 turns equal to 20% of max HP. A3 is called Keeper. This is an ascended ability. So the basic is places block debuffs on all allies, and then the ascended also places increased defense. So the ascended is block debuffs and increased defense, and the auras increases ally defense in battles by 25%. And it looks like we have one more. So the last one is called Assassin. Magic Attack Shadowkin. A1 is called King's End. Attacks an enemy, 50% chance of placing a poison. A2 is called Lingering Death. Attacks an enemy, 50% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs by 1 turn. A3 is Draught of Sleep. Attacks an enemy and places a weaken. And the auras increases ally speed in battles by 10%. Yeah, he's a ninja. So already off the bat, we see poison. We see increasing the duration of all debuffs on the enemy by 1 turn. And does a weaken. This is a really, really nice kit. Like already I'm thinking clan boss, right? Poison. Increases duration of buffs and a weaken. Yep, good for early game clan boss. Yep, and increases ally speed in battles by 10%. So already I'm thinking, holy cow, like this is good early. Poison. Debuff extender and weaken. On a rare champ. On a rare champ. So it's a really, really nice kit. It's a very nice kit. And yeah, just in time for the Fane tournament. I know, right? Just in time for Fane. So how many rares does that give us? 1, 2, 3, 4. So what that makes me think, chat, that's 4 rares. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 epics. This is what I'm thinking, chat. A traditional fusion to get the dwarf. So unfortunately, I'm thinking you're gonna need 4 of each champ. Don't hold me to this, but this is what I'm thinking. Yep, quad rares for each epic. Exactly, Doctor Who, that's what I'm thinking. Is you're gonna need 1 of each rare, so it's gonna be 4. You're gonna need each of them to fuse these guys. Now, what makes this tough for me though, I want these 2. I want the lizard and I want the hippo. So I'm really gonna have to, like, we're gonna have to see where these 2 are, because yeah, it's a good way to keep the epics, but this is my thing, is like, I want both of these. I really do. Particularly, like, if I had to choose one, it's this one. I really want this guy. I really, really want the hippo. Yeah, we're gonna have to see where you could get them. It's usually easy to get 2 epics. I really want this guy, so I'm hoping they're not gonna make this one too hard. So what they might do is, well, we'll have to see where they place them, but they have places where you can get the rares and you can get the epics and not have to fuse the rares and keep the rares, you know? We're gonna have to see. But that's where I'm gonna kind of struggle with this, is to get that. Yeah, you can usually get an epic in there somewhere, and then you can fuse with the rares. We have to see where it is. But that's all the new champs, and then in the ends, quality of life improvements. The champion index will display champion names under their avatars, making it easier to navigate. That's nice. So the index will actually see their names as well. Sort by rank will become the default filter for pre-battle champion selection. Champion rarity filter is going to be available. An option to keep auto battle on by default is going to be added to arena and clan boss. And it's going to appear as a checkbox on the champion selection screen. Players of level 50 and higher will get a button that allows them to access last played campaign location. And total team power for arena, both classic and tag, will be displayed in the battle and battle log tag. So just a couple little quality of life improvements. So guys, I would love to know, what do you think? What do you think of these champs? Are you excited? Yeah, so I'm happy with the quality of life, and like I said, the thing I'm most excited for is this one. The hippo is probably the champ I am most excited about. But I would love to know what you guys think. We talked about there's going to be there's 3 legendaries. So we know that Herndig is the fusion legendary, but we also have Lady Kimmy and Noble. So we do have 3 Legos total, all right? So I would love to know what you guys think. What champs are you excited about? Does this kind of get you a little bit more excited for the fact that we have the fusion coming next week? Because now we have a chance at getting these champs. I would love to know your feedback. Leave me some comments. Let me know. No AI control. There actually will be right up here. So we're going to have, they called skill instructions. They called skill instructions. So that was said here with pre-made teams. You know? So leave me some comments. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to know. I mean, you guys already know my thoughts. I'm pretty excited. I'm excited about this. I really am.